When did you hear the news?
I seen the news. Well, I got the news 6 o'clock in the morning about it. My brother, my sister got a phone call that early morning around like 5:50, 6 o'clock in the morning from his fiance, saying that he was shot and killed. And then my mom and my sister came over. I came over here. My wife came around here around like 8 o'clock. And they had all the roads blocked off. I made a 2 phone calls to my brothers that standing behind me and let them know what's going on and to come and assist me in this situation. And we was sitting down here in front of this gas station just watching it, try to get answers, but we weren't getting no answers from no officials on the scene. They were just telling us that we don't know what's going on, they can contact us, let us know what's going on. And still to this day, we still really don't have no answers. Nobody really came and spoke to us and gave us a full explanation of what took place, what's going on. And most information that we came across is what we seen on the news, and we know that most of what put on the news was a lie. What was going about my brother, about what took place, what happened, and it uses criminal history trying to criminalize him and demonize him, just trying to say that he was just a known armed drug dealer. So my question, one of the questions that I asked and I raised to the investigators, all those who are in charge of this case, and just to the public, to reason with us one time, to if my brother was a known armed carrier when he's selling drugs, how come he never been to prison? Since they using his criminal record about when he went to prison, how come he never been to prison for a pistol charge or a gun charge? You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know right there, he's not as dangerous as what they say he is. My brother was out here just trying to survive. I'm not saying what he done by selling drugs was the right thing to do, but at the same time, when you look at the circumstances and the conditions that we live in as a people, he was forced into that behavior because let's look at it like this: in slavery, everybody had a job. We all did. Now since we've been free, now we can't find a job. So then, when you out here trying to provide for yourself and you already had this target on your back and you've been in and out of prison and all your life from elementary to middle school, you got sociologists and psychiatrists trying to make you think something wrong with you because they don't understand your nature or understand the energy that you possess. They start diagnosing you with all these so-called man-made diseases or trying to tell you got these mental problems and issues because they really ain't got the time or they really ain't got the knowledge to sit down and tell you how to master and cope with what my brother had going on with himself. So all his life, he thought that he was a mental patient or something. Or he thought something was really wrong with him. But really all he needed was somebody to give him the knowledge of himself and the knowledge of his essence and what God created him to be. He never had it. So when you going to school and you dealing with psychiatrists and you dealing with teachers and you dealing with jail staff and they're telling you that you ain't nothing. And then when and so it's like you don't got nobody really giving you the knowledge of yourself and they telling you that people like you ain't really meant for to just be custodians or trash workers or construction man. You feel like, damn, did God really curse me? You get, like, this is all my life is? But all he really was, he just needed the knowledge and the guidance that he was only doing and trying to survive off what he knew. So it's like, but as far as that, my brother, he was just out here trying to survive. He wasn't just no dangerous person like what people trying to make him out to be. If anybody know my brother, he'll do anything for you. Bend over backwards for you. He had a good heart. He was just misunderstood and he just needed a little guidance and people take the time out and the patience with him to help show him what he did wrong and what he needs to, regardless if he was 40 years old. There's a lot of us, because you got to understand, this is a generational thing. This has been going on, my mama's age before her. So this ain't something that just happened and started today. This has been going on for years and years and years and years. So when you, like in my belief in teaching, we call that resurrecting the mentally and spiritually dead. Giving them a knowledge of the self, give them a knowledge of the enemy, because at the end of the day, even though my brother was selling drugs, but he ain't the one bringing it over here. That what they need to investigate the ones who's bringing it in over here and putting it on these streets. Because we know in the 80s, we ain't brought crack cocaine to the neighborhoods in Los Angeles, but it was government officials and having alliances with the contrast and all that. But all the president officials, they ain't go to jail. They ain't get no knock warrant kicked on their door, and they ain't get woken up in the middle of the night with gunshots. They ain't get criminalized when the news media put them out. They all trying to find a way to speak good about them even when they do wrong. So to let you know the system at itself is hypocritical. The system at itself is no freedom, there's no justice, and there's no equality. So that's what we really need to look at. Don't look at my brother trying to criminalize him like he the reason for the condition of our neighborhoods and our communities. We ain't the one devaluing our people in our communities. This was already started. We just act because we've been now socially engineered into this type of way of thinking and behavior to where now it's like we carrying on what was already we was forced into and brought up and reared in.
Now, we talked about some of the questions y'all were trying to get answered. So let's go through some of those questions that you have based on what you know so far, or what you don't know. Like, what are those questions? Take another step back for me. I'm losing you again. Okay. Let's talk about those questions that you want answered.
Like one of the questions I had is that soon the news came out. The first thing that was put out there said that the law enforcement came over here because of a domestic dispute. Then right after that was taken off. Then they said they come back with a no-knock search warrant. That's one of the things. And then the second question I asked is this: y'all, they making people believe that okay, it was a change of gunfire. So when I walk around and I look around my brother's house and inside his house and I look at the neighbor's house and all, like, if it was a change of gunfire, where did the bullet go? Where did it hit? Because we can see where they bullets went and hit. If my brother exchanged gunfire and when they come through with a flashbang, they come through his window, through a flashbang through his window and his bed right there, and he got a dog right here. How much time do you got? Just think about it. We know that the law enforcement is not going to play. So when you look at my brother's bedroom and you look at his brother, you just look at everything around his bed. By the time they throw a flashback, it's just like if anybody laying down in their bed sleep and you hear something come through your window, it's a big sound like a big explosion. You're gonna jump up. You're gonna pop up. You're just gonna pop up, and then it is immediately just started shooting. Well, then he had time to do anything. And even if he was, they just say if he, I'm not saying that he did, but they just say if he did was a change gunfire, or even reaching for a gun. If you come in unannounced and somebody coming into your home, and prior to this, it's already documented that to where his house got shot up 4 days before that, and then y'all tell him he got the right to protect his home. So if you come to my house and you coming through my window, breaking the window, I'm thinking somebody coming into my home. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all start firing the shots. But it's like, my question is like, okay, it should be some evidence showing that if he fired a shot, the bullet gotta go somewhere. It has a destination. What did it hit? What did it touch? And the third question I asked, like over the last year, we've been watching all across the United States of America about all these police shootings. One thing I know, when they speak on this, they always at least tell you, if they don't tell you the officer name, they at least tell you on the news that these officers will be on paid leave or something. So they ain't say none of that on the news. They ain't say none of that. It's just like they said what they said and they left it like that. So it's just one of my. It's just like my mama still got questions. She still got answers. There's still certain things we asking, certain things we want to know that we still never haven't been told. So I just pray that the officials that's over this case, that they do a thorough and just investigation and bring my mom and my family and the friends of James Scott Reed justice. Or if not, everybody gonna be held accountable and they'll just be as guilty as the ones who pulled the trigger. Because I believe that my brother was murdered. I believe this was a plot. I believe this was the intention. They're just looking at the crime scene. Just looking at the crime scene. When you walk in my brother's room, you can see the bed, how the blood comes from the bed up his dresser, up the wall to the door. Then it's a big puddle between the bedroom and the bathroom. And when the police did a press conference and they spoke on it, they said my brother's already dead before they even come to the house. So that's to let you know, like, okay, what's really going on. My brother was dead by the time the day he said it himself. He was already dead when they entered the home. What did he do to make you so much, to make him feel like he's such a threat? And we already know even before that, our former councilman Larry Cole was already trying to do away with the no-knock warrants way before the Warrant situation. He was already sending emails to city officials. He was already giving them suggestions about how no-knock warrants is too dangerous. Because we all know If somebody was coming to your home, the first thing you gonna do is grab a gun. Man, what the kids was in that house? You get what I'm saying? They could have took away keys, anything. It's just too dangerous. That's too destructible. But that's just to let you know the system. You gotta think about the ideas, they mindset. That's what we really need to be addressing. So at the end of the day, I feel like my brother, he died, he got killed, but it's a good thing out of this because now it's bringing awareness to the system. It's bringing awareness to the policymakers. It's bringing awareness to the people about the laws and the conditions that we are facing and the things that's going on that has been hidden and now it's being uncovered. Now it's being exposed because a lot of people really don't know because everybody got this mindset because you got to understand of the education and the philosophy that most people take on. So even when those who rule on the land is in Rome, the rest of the people were still trying to find a way to say that they're in the right. And right now they trying to justify my brother's homicide. But I'm not gonna allow it. My family gonna allow it, the friends of James Scottie Reed gonna allow it, and those justice is not gonna allow it. Because we know the truth. Everybody knows that it's a lot of things ain't adding up. A lot of things ain't adding up. There's over at least 20 shots in my brother's house. From the back of the house to the side of the house. All in the bathroom. All through the door. So when did he have a time to exchange gunfire? Somebody had to get hit. At least one officer would have to get hit, but no officer even got hit. Officer got hurt by a piece of glass. So he wasn't posing no threat. My brother ain't dangerous. My brother ain't never been to. My brother, he been to the penitentiary. He's off for drug charges. Never known for him actually aggravating assaulting anyone, pulling a gun on anybody, shooting a gun at anybody. None of that. So what makes them so? Where do they get that? My question is, where you get your information from to say that my brother was a known armed drug dealer? He carried his weapon and like he was just dangerous, that he would just shoot people. That would be one of his charges. If he known to sell drugs every time with a gun on him, so every time he caught that drug charge and went to the penitentiary, it would have been a pistol charge along right with it. So now they putting out false news, false information, to try to justify, and we're not gonna allow that. We're gonna fight for justice. If I gotta lose my life behind it, I'm gonna make sure justice is served. And my brother's name be clear from the false information and the way how they trying to degrade him, make him try to look like he's just an animal, he's just a beast. But this whole society, this world is a beast. This whole society is a criminal society. And what people gotta understand too is that the criminalization process starts with elementary. To this day, they're arresting our little boys and girls and our nieces and nephews at the age of 6, 7 years old. Because that should let you know it's something that's going on in this school system. Not just a school system, but it's something that's going on all across the world in all systems. Something ain't right. And people in this generation that's being raised and brought forth to today is being born with the spirit to know that. So that's why it's so people ain't rebelling just because they just evil in nature. They rebelling because the way the system is not lining up with their nature. It's not lining up with the universal laws of the Most High. It's not lining up with that, so their nature's already telling them something ain't right. And so when someone our children speak up and say something against what's being told to them, they get kicked out of school. They be labeled ADHD. They be labeled a behavioral problem, a problem child. They don't want to send them off to psych wards or mental institutions or even juvenile detention centers or even in prison. See, this is a systematic thing that is designed, if people don't believe it or not, it's to destroy minorities. It's to destroy the lower classes. Because this is our time.
Did your brother have any kids?
Yes, ma'am. He had one son named Malcolm.
How is he?
28 years old.
His son is 28?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he in Killeen or?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So the woman who was in the house with him, that's his girlfriend, right?
Yes.
That's you. Okay. Are you able to speak or on it? Or, I mean, I understand the situation, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay. We'll do that separately, but I do want to talk about we talked a little bit about who your brother was. Is there anything else you want to add about who he was outside of?
I mean, like I said, outside of that, my brother, he loved singing, he loved dancing. He loved, it's like one thing I know about my brother, he loved to see everybody come together and have a good time. He loved, like just like me, he loved joking, high side, and that's just my family. He just loved having a good time. And that, like, if you need him for something, he gonna show up and come through. He don't mind helping nobody. He got a good spirit. He always trying to get people together and just have a good time. He loves socializing with people. There's many people in Killeen that love my brother. There's a lot of people, even people I don't even know to this day, for the last couple of days, I'm just keeping telling them a lot of things about my brother. Like, he loves music. It's just, and it's like, it's just so much that was going on, and my brother was wanting to do a lot, and like I say, he just ain't have the knowledge of what he wanted. Like he was a little guy. He was in the process of really getting his life all the way together, because he know this way of living his lifestyle is gonna lead to you. He knew that, but that just go back into the circumstances, the condition.
Were you talking to him about, him doing something else? Or?
Yes, ma'am. Like 2 weeks, like the last 2 weeks before this happened, me and him were having a bunch of conversations, and he was just telling me like how he want to open up a mechanic shop, a tire shop, and he was already investing in with a family. He was just saying that like how like we the man of the family and how we need to do right for our family. He was just telling me like, like my belief in teachings. And I'm married now, and it was like, man, focus on your marriage, your wife, your kids, and do what you want to do. It's like I heard you speak way more famous 1601 English common law already have required law enforcement. When you enter any person's home, you must knock and announce yourself. Then in 1958, the Supreme Court required the same thing. Anytime law enforcement enter anybody's home, make sure you knock and announce yourself when you enter a person's home with force. But in 1995, they came with the exceptions of it and started allowing with the no-knock warrants, because they feel like those that they are investigating, that they might try to destroy evidence that they come in to search and find. But to me, it's more into that, because like the brother Lord Larry Cole, former councilman, said that if you want to know how to arrest people and do warrants, there's a way, because if you're already watching them, you can watch them come up out of their house and then arrest them, and then go into their home and find what you're looking for. So nobody will have to be harmed, or nobody have to get killed, or it just makes things a whole lot more easy. And to me, that's simple. It don't take a rocket scientist to come up with that type of idea. So it just let you know, it's just, then like with the Houston couple, that's been going on, that's to let you know if the police department in Houston, Texas say we ain't doing this no more. That should let you know how serious this is, how dangerous this is. That should let you know that should be something you ruled out. That's really unconstitutional, because at the same time you're giving people the right to protect their home for people that's coming to do your house or your family, your property home. And if somebody coming in your house, you're gonna think automatically it's a burglary and invade. So it just all to me, just all hypocritical.
Did you ever think that it would hit so close to home?
No, ma'am, I actually didn't. I would have never thought this happened.
Going back to the incident that happened a few days before, was anything filed on that, or did the police come out that night when you say somebody tried to shoot up the house before?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Okay. Did they come to a conclusion, or did they say they were investigating somebody, or?
It's just an investigation.
Okay. Did they talk to you about that incident when this happened in relation to that? Have y'all had that discussion? Have you had that discussion with police about it?
Not yet. That's still an investigation, still a discussion.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
It's just like right now, everything's still up on the investigation. But I just want those, like I say, who's in charge of this case, let's do a thorough and just investigation, regardless even if it gets your own. I'm just seeking justice for my brother, and I just pray and hope that they do right. And if you find yours wrong, then prosecute them like you're a prosecutor. Or prosecute just like you're a prosecutor. Just because at the end of the day, if we found foul play in this case, then everybody would be held accountable and treated the same way that the way they'll treat me or my brother or anybody else. If it was the other way around. But that's what.
All right.
When I ain't been touched, I don't know how. One more right here. Another about 10 right here. So like you was asking about one of the questions I raised, when they do the flashbang through this window, you can see the shots of my brother in this window. So if he was to exchange any gunfire, the bullet would have to hit one of these trees or one of these houses. So it's like a lot of things just still ain't adding up. In the house, my eyes, what I think probably took place, probably what happened.
Take a couple steps back on this side right here.
It's not mark right here. I don't know how that's so that had marked down. Hey, buddy. This is his bedroom. You can see a lot of blood that's right here. This is where he
Don't let one
laid
record.
at. This is where he was actually deceased at. So his fiance had to step over and try to wake him up and open the door to get him out.
You gotta lean to the side of the dresser.
And you can see this is bullet hole. He stepped in. You can see you can see the more blood. The blood splashed right against the wall and the dresser. And remember the first bullet hole I show you right here, but here goes another one. And this is where he was pronounced dead at right here. So he had this is his bed. He had the dog right here. This is his dresser. So him and his fiance is laying right here. So when they come through with the flashbang, by the time he pops up, even make a move, they already shooting. That's what I'm gonna see. But you can see when he first started to bleed at, it's been a couple days, like this stick. One of these sticks is probably missing, but it still had blood there. You can see blood right here, the splatter going up. And I was showing you some more bullet holes on this wall, all along this wall. The bathroom. I probably figured these probably came from the wall, and then the walls just came from the outside or the inside. That's why I say it's a lot of questions to be asked and raised, like how many times shots was fired and where direction where it was coming from, and what was the point of all that.
Let me get you,
No,
yeah. Cause were you over here in here when it happened?
yeah, I was in here.
Okay.
Hey. Okay, I was in here. He was against it. Basically, his dad was going. It was crazy like this way. He just like got home for shoe food. But it's like we was in bed at 8 time. But it was against the law, and I was laying behind him. It was like we was asleep. So when that came through the window, it was like boom in the flares. I jumped that way. He jumped out that way. This way. But we had a dog that laid at the end of the bed with a big bed. So he stuck there for a minute, then he, by the time he got ready to get up, I was on the floor. By the time he got get up, I was on the floor, and he realized his window, he jumped up, the light went off on the outside. By the time it came back on, he was like that, but he didn't get a chance to touch me. All they see was his hand go like that. Then when they went to shoot.
So you think they could see through the window when that happened?
Because that was done.
Okay.
But they kept turning the lights on and off. On and off. So by that time, it was like bullets, it was gunshots going everywhere. I was laying at the end of I was laying on the side of the bed right now. And when I hold my head up, James was laying right there on the door with his head, with his eyes open. I unplugged my phone and put my clothes on and walked back. And they didn't fire, it wasn't nothing fired at me. Nothing. They were still on my side. I still trying to move. So they still tell me come up, but I was still moving around a bit. So by the time I moved him to the side, he leaned over this way. By the time then I pushed the door over some and I walked out with my hand. They still wasn't there. I walked out with my hands up. They handcuffed me when I got on the porch. Nobody up here. But I was moving around up here. I got my phone, got my clothes, got dressed, got everything. And they didn't tell me not to move.
Pause right there.
With no clothes. I was on the porch. The ambulance didn't even pull up in the yard. The truck was up. The ambulance was way down the street. The ambulance walked in and walked back out and left. They didn't even come in here trying to revive. You know what I'm saying? If he did have a chance, they didn't pull up in his yard. The SWAT truck moved. The ambulance didn't run up with no Gorney. They left, they came in, outside right out there in that truck, police truck, you see me? They came in and they walked out and left.
Did they check for pulse or anything when they first came in? Did they do that?
I don't know about all that. I know I was in the police truck.
Okay.
But when I seen them, the SWAT, ambulance usually pull up in the yard.
Yeah.
That SWAT truck did not move. They didn't tell the ambulance to come on. There was no lights on. It wasn't none of that. The ambulance walked in and walked straight back out and got in their truck and got the ambulance and left. And the SWAT was still up there. That was it.
So they were yelling like when they basically sent the bullets flying in. They were at the same time yelling for y'all to stay down or what did you?
No, they didn't say stay down. They didn't tell us to stay down or none of that.
It was just
somebody said shot fired and he didn't even fire no shot. Then that's when I was on with the shoot. It was like the SWAT was over there and KPD had been back there. But when I came out of the porch, SWAT put me in handcuffs. The SWAT was on the end of that building, on the end of the porch. So when I came out, it was the SWAT that put me in handcuffs. KPD came from the back, and the other SWATs came from the side.
How long did they take to charge you?
They took, actually, to take me away from this crime scene, it took them probably no less than 2 or 3 minutes before they shipped me on to jail. And they charged me, when I came myself, they charged me with possession of controlled substance. And I had nothing on me. I had on a little tank top, some shorts, nothing on me. When I got to the jail, I sat in the holding tank for 3 days. They didn't tell me nothing. One of the investigators told me that they was working on him. It's bad. So I said, is he alive? She said they're working on him. She said, I didn't find out he was dead until they took me off hold and the bail once and told me. She said, you didn't know? Oh, he's gone.
How long was that?
That was like 3 days after.
So you didn't find that whole time?
I did not know he was gone. They told me, the investigator told me that they was working on him. The bail bondsman told me his sister mom was trying to get me out. They the one told me, the bail bondsman told me that he had passed away. His sister didn't know that. I didn't know. So I broke down on the phone with the bail bondsman. Well, she told me. The investigators told me, the female told me that they was working on him. It's bad, but I know they're working on him. But Ben was gone. He was gone when I walked out this door. Or when I got up, put my clothes and grabbed my phone, he was gone then. Then when the ambulance walked out of here, they knew he was gone.
Did you have a chance to try to revive him or anything?
No, I went up to him. I kept, telling him to get up. But it's like, when I hold my head up, it's like James Reed was looking dead at me. He was leaning on his door, looking with one of his legs going like that. His head was like that, and his lip, and I kept saying, Scottie, get up, Scottie. But his eyes didn't move. So they kept telling me to come out, but dead weight. So I had to push him to the side of the dresser. So when I pushed him to the side of the dresser, his whole head just leaned, but his eyes were still like that. Then I had to push the door, like he didn't move. And I squeezed through. That's when they handcuffed me.
What's the status of your case? Do you have an attorney or?
I'm going to court for a bond that I don't know. Mm-hmm. But they charged me for possession, controlled substance under 4 grams. I don't even know what they found. They didn't even tell me that they found. Because they found something, they left all this. They left, for him to be a drug dealer, I wouldn't leave all that right there. But they didn't show me nothing they found. They didn't show. They just charged me with possession of controlled substance. As far as them showing me what they charging me with, they didn't show me none of that. They just charged me. And I sat there for 3 days. On hold. The investigator talked twice. The day when it happened, then, not the next day, but the next day. And when they talked to me, that's when the ranger came in. The second time I talked to the ranger, he came in. He didn't want to hear their story. He wanted to hear from me. So he heard from me. He got up out of there and left. The investigators still there trying to get me to tell people that he was blinded from, instead of investigating his death, they trying to find out who he was getting his drugs from, how long was he selling drugs, did he know to have guns, They trying to find out all that. That's what their concern was, who was selling him, what was he getting the drugs from, with me. But when I asked him, is he gone, the female lady tell me, is it bad? Yeah, it's bad, but they're working on him. Not that he's deceased, but they're working. So some of the words you're telling me the ambulance is working on him. But I know I seen in my eyes the ambulance walked up out of here and got in the truck and left. The SWAT truck didn't move. That was it. And I went to jail.
Anything else you want to say?
I just want justice for him because he was a good dude. And I loved him. For that to happen to him, he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve none of it at all. I just want to get justice. He didn't deserve the way the way they let him sit down. They didn't have to do that. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve it at all. I just want justice to be done. That's it.
Sad.